So it's time to start, working on this rotten section on this side of the cab to match the kind of good section that we made up on that side. Got a lot of work on this side. This was a little bit more on this. And then we can scoot our way up this truck. It's going to be basically all brand new steel at the end of the day. Kind of seems that way. Welcome to Iowa Stable Garage. So yeah, what I mean is this. We're going to make this guy nice, boxy, nice and strong. Still got to put that little piece in there, but we'll deal with that likely a little bit later. Whole thing's all done up. It's all finished welded. We got to recreate this guy over on that side. Then we can scoot our way up to those motor mounts, those top crosses, all that stuff. And there's nothing worse than having a good blade and, dropping your grinder and turning said good blade into a not so good blade. Just the way she goes. Yeet. Time to crack open this pinata. I think somewhere around, where did I cut it on the last one? Whew, pretty deep. So let's do the same. We'll cut it right here. My good old truck is just so sweet. I feel like I'm in heaven going down the street. Now I look down at the cars when I stop at a light, and I have to admit, it is quite a delight. The open road is now calling my name. I will be traveling in style from whence I came. The music will be cranked, and I'll have my wife by my side. I love my truck, my vintage ride. Gotcha. Adios. Now, you can argue that that's not the best way to do things, because now you don't really have a guide to go off of. We're just going to go up off the top piece of it, kind of work our way through. That's the idea, anyway. Let's see how we do. But yeah, there's a big old hole now. Hello. It's like an echo. It's like a big cave. Now, at least this bottom sill here, this guy right here, is our control. That's the flattest part on this. That's the deepest it goes. So we can use that in conjunction with just rounding the panel, and I think we're going to be okay. So I'm just going to quickly measure that guy up. We're going to cut him out of steel, cut and butt, right it across, and then we can work on our inner and outer panels. That's the idea anyway. So what do we got here? What are we looking at? We're looking roughly, kind of thinking 9-inch. We're going to be over on this side, but that's okay because we're under on this side. I kind of cut it kitty wampus there. Not by choice, more so by accident, plus a little bit of it's rusted through sprinkled in. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I think a 9 by loading. If I could run the tape, it would work. Loading 17. A 9 by 17 square is going to give us basically this outside piece right across. I think it's going to work out pretty good. Let's start cutting. All right, so we got a little bit left to 18 gauge. We're going to roll with that just because, it's what I got. So we'll use that guy because we don't want to break into our good panels, a 16 gauge just yet. Those are running board panels, guaranteed. I should have said running board plus, the rear quarter fenders. Kind of forgot we still had to make those. It's a long list of stuff that we still have to do. Had to go measure the panel again because, I got the memory of Dory from Finding Nemo. So either way, let's mark it out. Let's cut it out. Everything's dipped in chrome. The paint, the color of speed, with an interior made of the finest cow, and the trim, the finest wood. The gear stick, that lever which lets me complete the speedometer and pushes the needle on the rev counter to the red line. The stereo blasting, never loud enough. 3 pedals on the floor, the middle one not needed. Window down so I can hear the mighty beast roar. That 8-cylinder piece of cast iron which propels my wheels forward and makes them kick up dust and smoke. On the long stretch to meet my maker, with the sun on my back and the power under my heels, on this lonely road, the place where me and my beast belong. I realize I have now ran my tank dry. I am now running on fumes as I always do, because the passion of mine is always hungry, even when it's full. The passion which only few will understand.
All right, let's see how bad we can be when we're Kitty Wampus. I need to give that a little smacky smack there. There you go, fixed. Perfect. See if we can do a cut and butt on this real quick before we blow that tack to smithereens. That would be nice.
What is a truck driver? He's a big guy. He's a small guy. He comes in all sizes and shapes. Short, tall, skinny, and fat. Laughing, serious, happy, and sad. He's transportation with a grin on his face. Distribution with a cocked left eyebrow. He's progress with diesel fumes in his hair. He makes a living holding 10 tons of steel in his hands. He has highway in his eyes. He likes straight highways, blonde waitresses, slot machines that pay off, friendly cops, and bonus checks. The road's his home. He drives today so the world can live tomorrow. He can tell you where to get the best apple pie on the highway, and where the radar traps are, and which roads to take to make the fastest time. He's America on wheels. He's big business with a road map in his pocket. Born 200 years ago, he would have been a buccaneer, a privateer, a freebooting soldier of fortune. Born 100 years ago, he would have been a frontier scout, a stagecoach driver, a rider of the Pony Express. He's the happiest, most useful man in America. He eats better than a banker, dresses like a Texas Ranger, and is more independent than a newly elected senator. With every trip, he threatens to get off the road and live like other men, but he never does, because the highway is a flirting L'Oreal who hums a haunting tune for the men who chase the horizon on spinning wheels. And when the tires sing, and the road is straight, and the moon is bright, and the ribbon of cross-country highway. Well, there we go. That's that one cab corner on that side. I quite like how it's coming along. So we're going to finish weld that in, and then we can kind of shape it and do all the other stuff. Let's get at it. I saw her as we were driving. She was rusty, dented, out of place, but even with weeds growing up all around her, I saw pride upon her face. I wondered how she ended up there, what paths, what roads she took. So we turned off the highway to have a closer look. The years had altered her appearance, so I couldn't help but stare, because even though a little weathered, there was still much beauty there. Where have you been, old girl? I wondered as I gave her hood a feel. What kind of adventures have you had? Who once sat behind your wheel? Perhaps you were some young boy or girl's first car, when they were just but a teen. Oh, the fun you must have had. Oh, the places you have seen. Perhaps you took a couple on their first date in the winter cold or the summer heat. Perhaps they fell in love right there as they sat upon your seat. I wonder, did they drive you to their wedding? Was it a beautiful day in May? Were you cleaned and polished and shiny? Did they decorate you that day? Did you drive them to the hospital, ignoring stoplights in the early morn, the days they needed you most? The days their babies were born. Did their children play upon your seats? On long trips, did they sleep upon your seams? Did you ever see them gazing out your window and wonder what they dream? Of course she did not answer me, but after helping her reminisce a while, I'm pretty sure that as I walked away, when I turned back, she smiled. All right, so now we got our general shape. So now we can start to hammer and dolly this guy and kind of get him to the shape that guy right there is supposed to be. Might as well start laying the hammer work to it. Her one friend got a Hummer, the other a new Jeep. I hate to tell you, darling, but we are way too cheap. What happened to the oldies, the good old Chevy truck? That's what you get, so don't complain, or else you're out of luck. We picked it up at auction. It's deep purple and so cool. I hope you don't mind driving an 85 Chevy truck to school. So let them have their Hummers, their Hemis, and their cars. 'Cause when we leave the mud hole, you can tow them home with ours. So in order to get these two fellas to match pretty good, I'm going to take this page here. I'm going to take this page here. I'm going to put this guy on top of this. And hopefully we can kind of get the curvature that we need.
kind of stencil it out on paper. There, within reason, we now have a chart that we can kind of go by for that angle. There. As you can see, our body work is super precise. But yeah, that's going to work out just dandy. We're going to be able to get our exact measurement and our exact bend just like that. It's going to turn out pretty darn sweet. Not going to lie. Now that is most definitely coming together. Pretty much the exact same contour. I'll just work that just a tiny bit, and then we can do our outer lip. And I think it's gonna work out just fine. Roughly, looking at 4 by, 2? 4 by 2. Maybe I should do, you know what? We might as well just do a 4 by 4 because then I can bend it and move it and we can cut off the excess as we go. I think that's a better strategy. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? 19. Let's scribe out a 19 there. Whoop, 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 whoop. And we got to do by 4. Now, none of this is square now, so we pretty much have to start from scratch. Square-wise, that's okay. We're going 19 by 4. It's way bigger than we actually need, but it's going to give us a ton of extra room in case we screw up. Got largest, we're looking at just about 8.5, and then an 11-inch. So 8.5 by 11-inch should do this hole right here. Let's get at it. Well, you guys remember this piece? Take a good look at her. That's the old roll pan for this, the first iteration. We don't waste anything here at Hi-O Stable Garage, especially on a build like this that we can afford a little bit of wavy steel. This piece right here, we're going to cut them up. And we're going to use them for just that over there. Awesome. One thing is pretty simple. Just kind of jam this guy in there, bend them up, and follow the curvature. I think that's going to work out pretty darn slick.
You know I never ask a lot, like other people do. Buddy, you know I haven't forgot, so now I'm asking you. I know machinery ain't your style. It's nature you love best. So if you could work with me a while, I know we both be blessed. I know sometimes I swear and scold when fixin' late night. Buddy, this truck is getting old. Still, she does her job all right. So if you could bless this truck, till this day is done, we won't be needing Lady Luck to make our final run.
What they look like side to side there, left and right. I think this one turned out pretty darn good. It's nice and strong, great cab mount, great cab corner, same as that side. We used 18 gauge instead of the 16 gauge that we used on that side just because, we had it in free steel and I didn't have to cut it up. So now what we have to do is come in here. This right here is actually in pretty good shape, this guy, but on the other side I just lobbed it off. So we're just gonna copy the same thing on both sides, likely come in here, snip off that lip, and this basically plate it off. I think that's gonna be the best case scenario for this guy. We also have to do it to that side. Main reason for that, 100% truth. We got the doors over there. I might need a, form fit some things. So I would rather do that when the doors are on, but we can't do that until the whole cab, flops back down. So I think what we gotta do is scoot this cab forward a little bit, flop it down, and then we can start working on the upper half. All right, time for Sketchy Lifts with Colt, part 3. Let's see if we can scoot this cab back. Or forward. I think it's forward in this case. Don't worry, I'm sure everything's gonna go to plan. Oh yeah, this is safe. Oh. Is that it? That can't be all she's got. Aha. Oh yeah, this is safe. Oh yeah, this is super safe. There. Nothing says sketchy like a leaning tower of Pisa, doesn't it? Don't worry, it's not all that bad. We still got our safety chains holding strong. Cab can't even flip over. You guys know me by now. All the safety around here. Well, there you go, fellas. That's basically the bottom cab corner sections all done up, which is awesome. That means we can move on to the upper part. And it's going to be a lot of work, I can tell you that. But we're rounding the corner on the bottom of the cab work. After the bottom of the cab work, guess what? Yeah, you're looking at them. We can put this guy back together, at least the front end, and work our way back. Do those back fenders, running boards. Awesome. And that's going to be pretty much the pièce de résistance for this entire truck. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's getting cold in the barn. We got a pretty big snowstorm going on outside. I'll catch you guys in the next one really, really soon. All right, see ya.